Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of September 25th, 2016. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here, and happy October to everybody out there. It is going to be October as we move to the very end of the week. So very big happy October to everybody. And it is a really big week. Talk about happy, talk about new beginnings, optimism, and all kinds of reasons to believe that life can be good, that life can get better. Well, this week promises all of that. We've got a very powerful week taking place. There's lots of truth here, but also lots of change. And it is a truth that ultimately is very positive, that is enlightening, and that is hopeful. And that really is some of the best kind of truth that you are going to find. So early in this week, we have the sun meeting Jupiter in the sky. This is what some astrologers like to call the luckiest day of the year. Some of you on social media have been asking me about this. The sun meeting Jupiter. When is that happening? Well, that's happening this week, and it's happening early in the week. Depending on where you are on the planet, it's happening right around the 26th. So really, I would say, given all the other stuff I'm going to tell you about too, this week is an important one, and this is a really good week to connect with other people, to make those one-on-one connections, especially in order to improve your life in some way, to connect with people with optimism in your energy, in your heart, in your spirit, knowing that ultimately every connection you make can be part of adding something to your life and adding something positive to your life. We are going to have some very social people out there with a sky like this, but also it isn't just about being social just to stay busy, but it is about how connections ultimately show us a more positive version of ourselves. And this is something that we'll be seeing across the board. With the sun and Jupiter meeting in the sign of Libra, this can also be a really good time to see the best of what Jupiter moving through Libra is going to offer us. So I did do the Jupiter specials. They are on YouTube now. So please do have a look at that, especially the overview that looks at what having Jupiter in Libra is going to mean to us as a collective. Well, I will say having the sun and Jupiter meet in the sky does say something about becoming aware of some diplomacy efforts that end up being very successful. So that is something that we could watch out for. And also diplomacy, balance, taking a measured view is something that I think can help all of us, and something that actually can be very successful for many of us, particularly this week. Also, right at the same time, really, we have Pluto. Now, Pluto is standing still in the sky and going direct the same day. So early in the week, we have Pluto standing still at a very potent, energetic place, right? Whenever a planet is still in the sky, preparing to change directions, its energies are particularly heightened. They're easier to access on one hand, but also kind of undeniable. It's like that energy is asking you to understand what it could mean in your life, how you could use it, and how you could use it to bring out the very best in you. So this is Pluto. Now, Pluto is a whole lot of things, right? But Pluto is also about those very deep, hidden, dark feelings, realities, truths as well. Things that we don't always want getting out, okay? So the stuff that we consider private, the stuff that we consider secrets that we know about, but we don't want necessarily getting out there. That's part of what Jupiter represents, along with a whole host of things like transformation, rebirth, regeneration. So when I see Pluto standing still along with the luckiest day of the year, again, as some astrologers like to say, the luckiest day of the year, it does suggest that whatever truth comes forward, whatever it is that we come to understand about our true motivations, about what it is that we're holding back and why, whatever it is that we understand about where we are ready to have our own personal rebirth in some way, a point of regeneration, some solid change and proof for that change, this really would be it. So you can expect, like really, if you've been one of those people who's been going through some process of transformation, who's wanted change in your life and has been doing something to move towards it, this will be when it is acknowledged. This is when you're going to start to see the rewards of the work that you have been doing. If you are one of those people who wants change and hasn't really undergone the work, this is where the belief, the hope, the faith, the optimism, and the motivation, the commitment that change sometimes requires, all of that can be on offer to all of us, really, but to you as well. And I don't want to underestimate this. I mean, when Pluto stands still in the sky, in some way we are accepting where it is that maybe we haven't been honest with ourselves as well. And I think of this also as a time when we really start to understand where it is that there's some aspect of our life that has become superficial, and where it is that we desire something more genuine, more essential, where it is that some fluffy stuff really doesn't matter. Maybe we've been giving it a lot of energy, and now we're ready to focus on what it is that really matters. We're also able to more readily recognize the core cause of an issue, particularly an undesirable issue. We're able to get right to the root of it and heal that and transform that. And when you get to the root, if you change the root, everything starts to look different. Everything starts to get that much better because you've healed things from the inside, and that means the outside must reflect what is happening on inner levels. So this can be really powerful, very liberating on the one hand as well. But ultimately what this week says is that we are moving towards greater optimism, and we're moving towards much brighter skies as well. And it's not only because of all this that I've already told you about, but what's also happening this week that I think is super exciting is the new moon. Now, depending on where you are on the planet, you're going to experience this new moon either on the last day of the month or the first day of the month. So it's either going to be October 1st, which it will be for a lot of us, or it is going to occur on the last day of the month. Now, this is something actually that I focus on for a lot of the signs out there for the monthly horoscopes. So do be on the lookout about that. That will be published later on this week. But just to say, this new moon is really, really positive. It's really powerful as well. And there's a certain determination with this new moon, so that it isn't just that we're having these inspirations and these insights and we know what it is that matters and what doesn't, but that we really use that information to begin again in some key way, to begin to plant some very optimistic seeds that can lead to some powerful fruits that pay off for a very long time to come. And I say this because we are having a new moon in the sign of Libra. And it is taking place with Jupiter in the sky, super lucky, really. And also taking place speaking in harmony with Saturn, which is about the long term and long-term payoffs. And also speaking in tension with Mars, which says determination, conviction, and really a feeling that change must happen, and it must happen now, and you are going to make it happen. You are going to do your part to make that change come about. Now, I do also want to say this is very positive energy for any kind of one-on-one relationships or partnerships. And so if you have been thinking about something like getting married or solidifying your bond, solidifying your relationship, it really is early October. So maybe not just this week, just yet, but especially once we get into next week, really good time for all that kind of stuff. So I had many months ago, a friend of mine asked me the best time to get married. And I looked at the sky and I said, wow, there's going to be this new moon in the sign of marriage and partnerships of all kinds. And it is happening with Jupiter in the sky. I mean, really, that is the best time. And you want to do it after the new moon, which is why it's not about this week. But for those of you out there who are thinking along those lines, or who have an inspiration to grab someone's hand, and hopefully this is someone that you know and you trust, but to grab their hand and say some nuptials, a lot of that inspiration is going to be in the air, particularly as we move towards the very end of this week and as we move into next week. So we can expect love to very much be in the air. Now, this is further emphasized by the fact that on the same day as the new moon, or right around the same time as the new moon, we are also having Venus speaking in harmony with Neptune. So Venus will speak in harmony with Neptune. This is romance. This is fantasy. This is, feeling like you're being carried away on love and roses and wine or whatever it is, caffeine, right? Whatever your thing is that puts you in that altered state of believing in love and romance and feeling like all things are possible with love. That is what a lot of this sky is going to offer. And so I would not be surprised if, whether it's at the very end of this week or the beginning of next week, I would not be surprised if, many people out there got a call where the couple you totally didn't think would get married, they got married. They went off and eloped. Like, that's the kind of energy we're going to have in the sky. And it's very interesting as well. There's lots of healing energy around relationships. So I know right now I've been asked about this as well on social media. I haven't been able to be as active on social media as I like, but I am reading you guys. And one thing I've been asked about is this very big celebrity breakup that's happening right now. Well, look, we've got all this energy that is super, super harmonious, that is very healing, that brings people together. And so I think that there should be some positive news all around for those of us who want to believe in love. There should be some very positive news all around that we'll be talking about publicly. Okay, this is a possibility, but also in our own lives as well. Even if you are one of those people who's like, no way, relationships, not for me. I'm not doing that right now. I'm doing single. That might be something that you're about right now, and that's great. But even those people may be surprised at how quickly things can turn and how quickly we realize that love, knowing that it's available to us, is something that we do actually want. And it isn't just about love necessarily in the divine sense. That is an amazing kind of love as well. But romantic love in particular is going to be very much a topic of conversation, of consideration, something that a whole lot of people out there are going to realize that they want and come to understand that it is available to you, no matter where you are in your life, no matter what your age, no matter what you have thought about your ability to love, your lovability as well. This is going to be a tremendous affirmation that you are worthy of love from yourself, of course, and a divine love, of course, but romantic love as well. And this can be really good for established bonds, to really heal past wounds, to come to agreements of all kinds, and to come to mutual understanding. So this is a powerful time, and I hope that you use it well. And talk about newness, right? Lots of new energy right about now. We've also got taking place Mars. Mars is going to move into the sign of Capricorn. This is really going to change things up, considering that Mars has been in and out and back in the sign of Sagittarius for so much of this year, like really since the spring. Mars has been very active within the sign of Sagittarius. So sort of one area of life was asking for a lot of our attention, asking for a lot of our energy as well. Well, now that's going to start to shift. Now that's going to start to change. I think as a collective, Capricorn is a sign that is very much about authority. That's also about the long term. There's a certain practicality to it as well. And so I think as a collective, we are going to be thinking about power in different ways. So in some ways, power is admired when it's very immediate, when it's very spontaneous. Other times, power is admired when it is measured. And that is what this particular sky says. So I look at all this energy that says diplomacy. I look at this energy saying being measured, thinking of the big picture, really taking into consideration some of the larger effects to your current actions. And it does suggest to me that we really are going to start to see how much we can benefit from the smart, the mature, and the nice way forward. Well, thank you so much for watching the introduction. I'm truly so grateful for it. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, thumbs up. It means so much. I see how many of you share my posts, especially the videos on social media. And sometimes I don't see it, but all of it, it just means so much to me. So thank you. I've got a couple of big announcements. I'm super excited to announce. I mean, I cannot explain and put into words. If you can believe that, I can't find the words to express my enthusiasm for some of the things, and particularly the first thing that I want to share with you, and that is my upcoming event. I've been alluding to this. People have been asking me, I've been mentioning it, but here is the official announcement. I have a speaking engagement coming up in October. Now, it is going to take place in the middle of October, the weekend of the 14th of October. There is a conference taking place in Anaheim, California. So that's in Southern California. There's a conference taking place called ESAR, and it's happening at the Hilton in Costa Mesa, California. And I'm going to be speaking as part of this particular weekend. Now, I don't have the exact date just yet. As soon as I have it, I'm going to let you guys know when I have the date. I know that it's going to be around midday is when my talk is going to be, but really this is a gathering of some of the most notable astrologers alive today on the planet. And so it really is going to be a very special event. I'm so honored, so grateful, so excited to be contributing to it and to be speaking at this event. I would love to meet as many friends and fans as possible. I'm going to have copies of my book on hand as well if you'd like to buy a signed copy from me. And I am just so looking forward to this. So the event, again, is part of a weekend. If you are open to learning about astrology, if you want to learn more and you want to learn from some great astrologers, then I hope that you will consider registering for the weekend and joining me there. But of course, I will let you know when my exact presentation is going to be. And that way you can join me for that as well, and in particular as well. So again, that's going to be the weekend of October 14th. It's going to be part of the ESAR conference. That's ESAR Astrology Conference. So please do have a look at that. There's more information available on my website, nadiyashah.com, under events. And it really is going to be a wonderful weekend. And I'm so looking forward to meeting so many friends and fans out there. I will let you know the exact day when I have it and the exact time when I have it. But I will be in Southern California and I will be speaking. My talk is going to be on outer planet transits to the moon. So my talk is called When Your Feelings Change. And that's really what it's about. It's about understanding what is comfortable to you, what emotional fulfillment means to you, and how that will go through changes. Especially when there's an outer planet transit taking place to the moon. So that is what my talk is going to be about. It's going to be a 1-hour talk, a midday talk, and I hope that you will take time out to join me there. Can't wait to meet friends and fans in person, to hug as many of you out there. I think it'll just be lovely. So thank you in advance for being there. And again, more information will be available next week as well. The horoscope for the following week as well. And this is happening in 3 weeks' time. And when I have the exact info, the first places I'm going to share it is on my newsletter, which you can sign up for on my website and on social media as well. My next announcement is webinars. Webinars are beginning this week. At the end of this week, we're going to be in the next series, the fall series, the October series, of bringing Synchronicity University in real time, in webinars, online. Last time we had an amazing group. It was so much fun to be with you all, to share with you all, to interact with you. It was so great. I know we all learned from each other, and we created this very safe, positive space where we could all enjoy ourselves and learn astrology together, where I answered your questions. It was very interactive. These classes will be the same, and the topics were chosen based on what you have asked for. So it is exactly you guys reaching out to me saying, I want to learn this. And from that, I came with these 4 classes that I'm going to be teaching the first 2 Saturdays of October. And then of course, mid-October, I'm going to be in the greater Los Angeles area in Orange County for the presentation that I'm going to be giving as part of the ESAR conference. And then the last 2 Saturdays. So it's great. We have 5 Saturdays in October, so it works out really well for classes. There is a discounted rate if you register for all 4 classes. So the first 2 classes are going to be focused on love. So one class will be on when you will find love. So what types of transits, indicators do we see in a chart that indicate when a major relationship could come along? The second class is going to be looking at you in love. And so that is about understanding what you need in love, what your relationship style is, but also others as well. We'll be going through the different signs, the different placements that suggest an understanding of what this particular person needs where it comes to love. And if that need isn't met, what that's going to mean to the bigger picture of any relationship that they get in. So that's going to be what I'm sharing in the second weekend, the second Saturday, the 8th of October. And the other two, the fourth Saturday of October is going to be on a solar return birthday chart. So this is a birthday horoscope. When people purchase a birthday reading, this is what ends up being incorporated in that reading, which is called a solar return chart. So it's really looking at and taking a snapshot at the sky at the moment that the sun returns to where it was when you were born, and what that says about key moments coming up in this year. It tends to be very revealing and really does speak to some of the larger themes that are going to arise, some of the larger changes that very likely are going to arise as well. Finally, the last Saturday of October, I will be teaching on a class called The Major Cycles of Life. So we are going to go through a full lifespan and look at some of the transits that everybody goes through right around the same age. So what are some of the transits that everybody goes through that defines adolescence? What defines your, young adulthood? What defines moving into adulthood and midlife and transitioning into another phase of life, into older life cycles. So we are going to go through a life span, if you will, really 90 years. I'll be going through all the major things that happen in the astrology chart for all of us right around a certain age that tend to speak to some of the major lessons that we tend to learn. So this can be really valuable, especially in understanding other people. When you interact with them and you come to understand, especially when you know their age, you come to understand what likely lessons they are going through right now. What is it? What cycle are they in? And from there, you can gain that much more, whether it is that you're an astrologer, you're advising them, or it is that you just want to relate to them better. I've said this before, especially in my classes. I said that one amazing thing about astrology is it absolutely gives you more compassion. It does make you a more compassionate person because you see how it is that these soul lessons are playing out as represented in the symbols of the planets. And you get to understand that whatever things may look like on the surface, ultimately there are some very deep soul lessons playing out, and its time has come. We're responsible for how we deal with those lessons, how we bring them forward, how we manifest them, and yet there's also a lot to be said for relating to another person. We all go through certain transits. Now we make different choices and what that's going to mean for us, and yet we have these shared, what I like to call archetypal experiences. I didn't coin that phrase, but I consider them very archetypal experiences that take place that are symbolized by the planet. So I think all of these classes, I think they're going to be amazing. I know we're going to have a whole lot of fun. Lots of people have been registering. I'm sure it'll be a great group. Full video downloads are available after the class. And so if you can join us in real time, that's great. If you can't join us in real time, no worries. You will get the link for the video download, and that will be yours to keep and enjoy and learn from for a long, long time to come. So I really hope that I will meet you there online, and you can register synchronicityuniversity.com or my website nadiyashah.com. Looking forward to learning with you once again in the October series of webinars as part of Synchronicity University. Also, I do want to mention personalized horoscopes. So if you would like a more personal look at your sky, I know I'm asked a lot of questions online. It's so much fun interacting with you guys. My schedule has gotten increasingly busy, particularly not only because I have a lot of events coming up. I'm going to, and I'm actually in talks right now for certain events, so I'm going to leave that alone until everything is confirmed. But I am confirmed to do this event in California. I am confirmed to be in Kelowna, British Columbia in January. Really looking forward to that as well. And other places on the planet, actually. Looking forward to sharing with you guys as we go along. But really, my schedule has gotten so busy, and there's been a large volume of orders of the personalized horoscopes. So it does say when you place your order, it does say to please allow up to an extra 2 weeks to receive your order, because right now when you place your order, you can expect there to be about an additional 10 days before you receive it from the time that you're expecting to receive it. And I appreciate it so much. The trust, the patience, it just means so much to me. Thank you so much to everybody out there. And so you can look into that, learn more about that if you want a personal look at your unique birth chart and answering your unique questions. You can learn more about that on my website, nadiyashah.com. Just go to personalized horoscopes and all that information, more details, different areas of focus, all of that will be right there on my website, nadiyashah.com. Please help me celebrate Stephanie G. Weiss at stephaniegweiss.com. She is the featured artist this month with all this beautiful art. I couldn't stop looking at it. Absolutely loved it. Loved the vulnerability in the people, in the images. Loved the use of the starry sky and incorporating some astrological inspiration as well. Stephanie does all kinds of amazing things in different healing modalities. Please check out her website, and thank you for celebrating Stephanie G. Weiss with me at stephaniegweiss.com. So finally, it is the beginning of October, and that makes it a very exciting time. Sometimes I share some personal things about myself. And so I think some of the things I'm about to share right now, maybe not a big revelation to a lot of people out there who've been watching me for a while, as I've, shared little bits of this, but it is, if you would allow me a moment, I did want to share a little bit about my experience and something that's very meaningful to me. I like to talk about, and I do talk about my parents from time to time, really amazing people. And I think about how, for me, particularly with my father, my parents were both feminists. They always told me I could do anything, I could be anything. They really emphasized education and having work that I love. And they emphasized having my own sort of economic freedom. They always said to me, you should be with somebody because you love them, not because you need them to survive. Your economic viability should not depend on another person. It should always depend on you. And to me, that is, one of the greatest gifts that they gave me. And so one of the earlier memories that I have, and one of the most cherished memories I have with my dad, is going with him as he canvassed for his political party in Canada. So the political party that he loved. And knowing also, like growing up in my house, there were certain political figures, Canadian political figures, that were very loved in my home as well. And so I remember as a little girl going with my dad as he was canvassing, and going with him as he was supporting certain candidates, local candidates, and going to these celebrations on election night. Like, this was part of my very early experiences, my early childhood. And so when it came time to vote, I remember the very first opportunity, the very first election that took place from the time that I was eligible to vote. My father took me to the voting station, and I remember him pushing me, like he literally pushed me in the door and said, "Go vote." And, I remember at a very early age, and just knowing, I just sort of grew up with this understanding that voting was something that a lot of people have sacrificed for. I get very emotional when I think about it, when I think about the fact that there are women on this planet who cannot vote simply because of where they were born, simply because of where they are at this point on the planet. And I always think of voting as honoring the people who sacrificed so I could do this, as doing it for the people who can't. And so right now, I know that a whole lot of people out there, I have viewers from all over the planet. I'm so grateful for every single one of you. I know that in my early years, in the first few years that I was doing videos on YouTube, there was like a point when over 80% of my viewers were from the United States. Now, as my channel has grown more and more, I have more and more viewers in the United States now, but now it's at 50%. So that's still 50% of my viewers are in the United States. And of course, I love all my viewers from everywhere, all my fabulous friends and fans, wherever you are on the planet. We absolutely, all of us are connected. But I know that there's a big election coming up in the US. And I know that it may seem like it's a little bit far away, but one thing that I did just want to share, if you allow me this indulgence, is that I do know that right about now, early voting in a whole lot of places would be opening up. I have been voting early for as long as really I can remember, for a very long time, for well over 10 years now. It is something that always just kind of made sense to me to do. I go when I want to go on my own time and when it's right for me, when I'm inspired to, when I know that that early voting station is open. And when I go, there's not a whole lot of people there. There's not a whole lot of waiting. And so I go, I thank the social justice ancestors. I send love to the people on the planet who can't do this, who can't do this thing, which is voting. And I vote and I leave. So that tends to be a ritual of mine anytime that there is an election. And so all I'm saying is whoever it is that you support, whatever it is, even if there isn't somebody that you're particularly enthusiastic about, which has been the case for me as a Canadian, I've had those moments too. And yet I've always gone to that booth, and I have always, for many, many years now, I've gone early. And so that really is it. Coming from someone with a Sagittarius moon, obviously, right? Whatever your moon is, that is nourishment. Like that is what you understand as you needing to be nourished. And so it's understandable why I would feel this way. And regardless of where your moon is, what your moon sign is, my hope is that you in some way are inspired to do this amazing thing, which is vote, and do it for whatever motivates you to get there, and particularly to get there early. I hope that you will celebrate that, and particularly the Americans who have inspired the world. I mean, I've been sharing this on my personal Facebook about reading the American Constitution, and it is really a beautiful document. And so it has been a document that's inspired many, many places and cultures and societies, has changed the world really. And so I hope that you will, take it to heart and be inspired wherever you are to go and to place that vote, to take those few minutes and to do it early, always a good thing as well. So that's all I'm going to say about the upcoming election. Really not trying to say anything else. Again, I don't care who you vote for. Just put that energy out there, the energy of having the celebration that you can make a choice, of honoring those people who made this possible. Thank you for listening to that. And thank you just for being here as well. It really does mean so much to me, just having this moment with you. Everything I do, absolutely everything, is about affirming that the universe is wise and loving. And I truly hope that that is evident in all of my work. And that really is my mission. That is the motivation behind absolutely everything that I do. It is to affirm in the universe that the universe is wise and loving. And I hope that this video inspires you, gives you hope, in some way allows you to receive whatever it is, whatever information or message or inspiration you need right now to help that affirmation be more realized and more understood as part of your unique journey. So how all this wonderful stuff, celestially speaking, how all that stuff speaks to you and your sign is coming up right now. Hello, fabulous Aries. What a big week it is for you in the context of love, partnerships, connections with other People, if ever there was a time to not stay home, this would be it. In fact, I do think that with a sky like this, the chance of making some very fortunate connections certainly is there. There's lots of cosmic support to make that happen, particularly as we move to the very end of the week. And next week, the new moon is going to come in and boost the positive energy already there thanks to the sun and Jupiter meeting in the sky. It's only going to boost that energy, allowing you to continue with this meeting lucky people or meeting people who end up being fortunate to you kind of energy that is in the air right now. I mean, I said in the Jupiter special, it really is Jupiter right about now that is going to be starting this 13-month cycle with a certain undeniableness, especially for you. And that's certainly going to show up in terms of the people that you're meeting, the connections that you're making. I especially want you to consider if you're in an established bond. Energy like this can have you feeling like you're on this whole new exciting chapter with this person. So this definitely is really good for building the relationship you have. If you're open to meeting someone new, lots of cosmic support to make an amazing connection take place. Ultimately, what this sky is saying this week is that people want to be there for you. They want to be with you. They want to align with you, whether it is for happiness, whether it is for prosperity. It really is those one-on-one connections that are going to take you really far. And that is going to become very evident over the course of this week. Hello, Fabulous Taurus. It is a big week for you in the context of work and health. In fact, this could be when you get some really good health-related news. So that should be particularly exciting, but also where it comes to work. If you're self-employed, people are going to want to be hiring you. There are going to be people that are going to want to connect with you, give you great projects, and some wonderful clients could come your way. If you work within an organization, this is where your relationship with coworkers can feel especially sweet and especially inviting. Also this week, we do have your ruling planet speaking in supreme harmony with Neptune. So your ruling planet Venus, goddess of love, speaking with Neptune, and particularly for you with Venus right now in your opposite sign. I mean, this really could be a feeling. If anybody out there is going to feel swept off their feet, it certainly is you. And of course, those of your opposite sign Scorpios out there. But for you in particular, and especially if you are in an established bond, if you're already in an established bond, this can be just, making plans together, making some big plans together, really feeling that a sense of being deeply in love is part of what this energy promises. If you're open to meeting someone new, just be mindful because this energy is very carried away, not necessarily very practical, not necessarily very grounded energy. So this energy isn't about necessarily seeing things as they are, but it does remind you that there is love available to you and you can believe in and you can hope for love and see evidence that it is manifesting, that it is being realized for you now. Hello, Fabulous Gemini. This week, we've got all this beautiful celestial energy taking place. And for you, it's happening in a super romantic place. Now, this has to do with flirtation. It has to do with the feelings of love and romance. It has to do with fertility as well. So you can work with that however works for you. So some of you on a physical level might be very fertile right about now. And if that's something you're hoping for, lots of cosmic support to make that happen for you. If that's not necessarily where you are, you can channel this energy, utilize it towards creative projects, particularly artistic projects. But as I said, there's a strong flirtation element to the energy that's in the sky right now. And this energy is going to continue into next week as well. So really do enjoy it, especially if you're open to meeting someone new. This is where a real heart connection can take place, or at the very least, meeting someone new really does light you up. Seems to bring a lot of joy right about now. And also, if you're just getting to know somebody, this is where the process of dating can be especially fun. If you are in an established bond, a sky like this does encourage you to enjoy yourself. So do what it is that you need to enjoy yourself and trust that that in some way will benefit the established relationship that you are in. And finally, I gotta say, with energy like this, if you do have children or if there are children that are particularly important to you, this is where you could get some very good news on that front. Hello, Fabulous Cancer. What an exciting week it is. We do have lots of cosmic support right now for you to feel very much at home, wherever it is that you are, wherever it is that you want to be. So especially as we get to the very end of the week and as we get into next week, this is really good for new beginnings, especially where it comes to home. But a lot of the inclination, the possibilities are going to start to reveal themselves now and earlier in the week. And as I look at this sky, it does say whether you want to buy or sell or move, whether you want a new roommate. Lots and lots of cosmic support here for getting exactly what you want and having it be even better than what you could have planned for yourself, or having it be even better than you expected, things going even better than you expected. Now, this is also true for those of you who work with homes or have a home-based business. All of that business should be booming with a sky like this. Now, for those of you in an established bond, I just see this energy as wanting time alone with this person that you love. You do also have Venus in a super romantic part of the sky, so that absolutely can support you. But it does look like for those in an established bond, if you live with this person, you're going to want to be at home with this person. There's going to be a desire to just close the door and have that sort of space created just for the two of you to relax and enjoy each other's company. If you're open to meeting someone new, it is going to be that Venus that is particularly helpful to you. And this can be really good for getting your flirt on. And with a sky like this, I have a feeling that it is very possible now that a flirtation really could get your imagination going. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, especially if it reminds you that love is something that you want, love is something that is available to you. But yeah, I just see a lot of fancy feelings arising from a very delightful moment. Hello, Fabulous Leo. What an incredible sky it is for all of us. For you, a lot of the positive energy is going to be coming forward where it comes to your siblings, cousins, and neighbors. So these people can usher in all kinds of wonderful opportunities for you, or at the very least, some very nice moments can be welcomed in for you thanks to these very types of people. So having fun, connecting, reconnecting, all of that can go supremely well, or even just hearing some good news taking place that ends up making you very happy can take place as well. If any new neighbors come into your life over the course of this week and next, it does look like it could end up being a very positive occurrence for you, whether that is in terms of friendship, but of course there's that love factor as well. There could be some flirtations that take place with a neighbor right now. Just, I'm always very much about being mindful of things like that, okay? Because especially we're going to have all this like super romantic energy thanks to Venus and Neptune. Venus moving through part of the sky for you that has to do with what's happening on the home front, or close to home, or at home. So what this suggests to me is if you're open to meeting someone new, chances are you're not necessarily looking far and wide. You're looking very much closer to home and what's happening around you. If you're in an established bond, it does look like there's a lot of love at home, right? That's a perfect symbol for that, having love at home with Venus at the very bottom of your sky, and a desire to make home a more loving place for you both is going to be very much of interest to you now. Ultimately, this week is super positive. There's lots of positive energy here. And also, I gotta say, for you, there's a lot of right place at the right time and meeting the right person, just running into the right person kind of energy on offer. And so if ever there was a time for you to just, be out and about running your own errands, this would be a very fortunate time to let happenstance lead you in a very positive direction and possibly a very positive person. Hello, fabulous Virgo. What an incredible week it is for you in the context of money and earnings in particular. This can start off a really great period for you. This week in particular can begin a really great period for you when it comes to your money and it comes to bringing in more money in particular. So for some of you out there, this could be a raise, like the possibility of a raise that shows up. The inklings may show up now, but it might take a week or two to manifest for a small percentage of you, but it might just be that, more money showing up for you. For others of you out there, it might be a new financial opportunity, a chance to make more money in another place, in another organization that shows up. And for others of you out there, this just might be more work that shows up for you, and that in turn lends itself to allowing you to make more money. So this is especially true for those of you who work maybe by the hour or by project, get paid by project. This could be a time when you're especially busy. There'll be an abundance of work on offer. And especially, I think some of you out there are going to feel like, is it holiday season? Like all of a sudden everything gets so busy. Everyone's out and about. It feels like the streets are busier. It's going to feel a little bit like that for you, and particularly where it comes to and is related to the work that you are doing. There'll be an abundance of opportunities to create greater abundance for yourself. Where it comes to love, we do have Venus right now moving through a compatible place in the sky for you. And this does suggest that some of your best chances at love are going to come through thanks to introductions from siblings or cousins. And also this can lend itself to some flirtation taking place with a neighbor. So be mindful of that. It could be a neighbor that says something, very innocent that really gets your imagination going. Lots of fantasy in the air where it comes to these types of people. If you're in an established bond, I have a feeling, I look at this and there's this chance of hearing what it is that you want. And this can be, on the one hand, a conversation that really has you feeling so in love and feeling the love. And that can be beautiful, right? Making some very idealistic plans together. But it's also very possible in the sky like this, that your partner is trying to tell you something and you're not really getting the message. It's like your partner is trying to tell you something, but you are seeing things very much from the place of what you are hoping for, what you are aspiring for, all that could be. Now that's a beautiful thing on the one hand, but there is something very special that happens when you're able to acknowledge and balance that out with the other ways that what you're hearing could be interpreted. Now it happens to the best of us, but there is that chance there for some non-clarity to happen and to get caught up in a message that isn't necessarily accurate, but it doesn't look like it's necessarily doing anything negative in the bigger picture, so it should be okay. One thing that I do really like about this sky though is that feeling of love, feeling like you are in love. That truly is a beautiful thing. Hello, fabulous Libra. What an exciting week it is, and especially for you. It's all about possibility and it's all about brand new beginnings. This is energy you're going to feel this week and energy you're going to feel next week as well. This is really part of a positive boost, if you will, of now hosting Jupiter in your sign. Like really just about anything starts to feel possible. Like it can really feel like the sky is the limit with a sky like this. Now there might be some nitty-gritty details that need to be worked out. Don't worry about it. Just focus on the possibility and you'll find yourself moving more and more towards realizing them. So we've got the sun meeting Jupiter in your sky early in the week. And then at the very end of the week, we've got a new moon in your sign. You get one per year normally, and this is yours. So it's a brand new beginning, brand new possibilities that very likely are set to show up for you. I think that this is super exciting because it really says that you are in touch with who you are and what you really want. What matters to you most, what matters to you first is going to be very evident, and you will find yourself doing what you need to move yourself in the direction that you truly desire to go. The one thing that I could say is really dream big, because this is a super positive sky with all kinds of possibilities that could open up for you. And in some cases, very delightfully, in some cases, very surprisingly, but really the sky is the limit with a sky like this. Where it comes to love, this becomes true for love as well. Now, do keep in mind that a couple of weeks down the road, we are going to have some important celestial activity, full moon in your opposite sign taking place. That's going to represent a big moment for you in the context of love. However, this week is good as well. This week is really good as well. And it really is because of you. You are going to be carrying yourself with greater confidence, greater belief in yourself. You'll be radiating something, and that alone very likely is going to attract people to you, including romantic supporters. For others of you out there, if you're in an established bond, this energy just has you feeling like all is well in the world, and that certainly includes in the love that you have. Hello, fabulous Scorpio. It is a fabulous week. It is an incredible week. We've got some amazing things happening on the celestial sphere, and that includes for you as well. Absolutely. You've got Venus in your sign, and Venus this week speaking in supreme harmony with Neptune. Now, this is really, I mean, if anyone's going to have the magic, it really is going to be you. I mean, you really can like spin any kind of glamour, any kind of illusion that you like. So this particular energy, and considering now that Mercury is out of retrograde, Mercury is moving direct, I mean, I look at that. This is the time when you might want to consider some kind of makeover, some kind of new hair color, like whatever it is that you've been thinking about changing or trying. This sky, particularly as we move towards the later part of the week, does suggest that you will very much like the result. So remember, this is, you know, very much about the illusionary part of it, okay? So like working with glamour, working with stuff that isn't that big a deal to change, is the kind of thing that is especially supported with this, because changes become very possible. But look, I mean, as I look at this, the beautifying factor is just so strong. And then you add to it that you do have a lot of very positive healing energy in a part of the sky that does have to do with healing and recuperation, if you will. And so, I mean, I look at this and I think, you know, even if you were to do something that was a little bit more permanent, still lots of cosmic support to have it go in a way that you truly do like, and not taking your own chart into consideration, because, you know, your own personal chart is one thing, but when I look at it, generally speaking, it looks good. So this would be the time. I mean, maybe, you know, some people out there wouldn't like me saying this to certain people out there, but, you know, if you get a tattoo right about now, you might like that tattoo a lot. It could end up going pretty well for you. So enjoy this energy. And this also works really well in terms of love, in terms of attracting love into your life, or just feeling the love as well. So if you are in an established bond, I mean, this is just super romantic, super carried away. You certainly, out of all the zodiac, are going to be feeling romantic and feeling romanced that much more. And if you are somebody who's open to meeting someone new, this is, I mean, I'm just seeing all kinds of imagination taking flight. There's lots of imaginative energy in the air as we move towards the late part of the week. And that can be a really beautiful thing, because that can encourage us to take chances that we might not otherwise take, that ultimately do move us towards the kind of love that we truly desire. Hello, fabulous Sagittarius. What an exciting sky it is right about now. And for you in particular, it does look like friends really want you to live it up right about now. And friends are super supportive to you. And especially as we get to the very end of the week, a friend could either facilitate an amazing opportunity for you, or you could meet new friends or join a new group that ends up being tremendously prosperous for you, not only in the immediacy, but very possibly for a very long time to come. This particular new moon is speaking in harmony with Saturn in your sign. So there's a very like smart, long-term thinking about the big picture factor to what is taking place. So that does suggest that if you join a group for professional reasons, a group that has to do with the goals that you desire to meet, that could end up going very well for you also. We've also got this week a very interesting energy where it comes to matters of love. Now, if it's just about friendship, right, it could be, you know, there could be a little bit more happening with a friend. That is possible with a sky like this. But when I look at it really from matters of heart, it really is about Venus, of course, goddess of love, and she's moving through the sign just before yours. And what's also happening now is that Mars is going to leave your sign. So Mars in your sign sometimes can indicate frustration, particularly with the person that you are with. It can happen, right? Because ultimately this is about you recognizing what needs to change in your life. So it's very possible that you sort of recognize that part might be manifesting. It could also be that it's easier to get a little irritated when Mars moves through your sign. Well, now Mars is going to leave. So that can make established bonds in particular that much smoother. And that can also be really good in terms of when you're meeting new people. Mars in your sign does really motivate you, particularly on a physical level, to connect with others. It makes you brave, and that can be a really great thing. But the great thing is when Mars leaves your sign, you can start to step back a little bit and take a more laid back approach. And that can end up working really well for you too, particularly with Venus moving through the sign just before yours. So this is really laid back. This is really low key. And there's a factor here that also has to do with what's happening kind of behind the scenes, like things that you don't necessarily want to advertise or you want everybody knowing. It does look like if there's any sort of romantic feelings, part of that is going to stay in the dreamy flirtation realm. Okay, so just know that that is a possibility. This can also suggest, if you're in an established bond, that there's some plan, some aspiration that you might be working on with the person that you love. It might not be time yet to announce it, but there is certainly something in the works between the two of you. Hello, fabulous Capricorn. What an exciting week it is for all of us. Certainly includes you as well. We've got all this amazing energy taking place at the very top of your sky. This is an amazing career time for you. I mean, really capitalize on this. Really utilize this to your advantage. You have got Jupiter at the very top of your sky right now. All of the plans that you were making, all of the things that you were trying to put into place over the course of the last year, now this is where traction starts to be made. We have got the Sun meeting Jupiter at the top of your sky, plus a new moon incorporating Jupiter by the end of the week at the top of your sign. All of this does suggest that some really big career possibilities absolutely could manifest for you. New beginnings absolutely are possible for you with a sky like this. This is really great for those Capricorns out there, the particularly ambitious ones, to have things go amazingly well. So if there ever was a time to schedule an interview, this would be it. Like this week and next week as well, but particularly this week, to schedule an interview, to do an audition, all of that stuff, meeting with bosses, wanting people in positions of authority to grant you favor, all of that can go really, really well with a sky like this. So this is the kind of sky that says believe and take a chance, and that can end up being rewarded very, very nicely, particularly this week, and you'll be feeling this positive energy into next week as well. Now, where it comes to matters of love, we do have Venus right now moving through a part of the sky that has to do with friendship. So this can be really nice, turning friends into lovers, or seeing a friend and imagining a whole lot more. That can happen with Venus speaking with Neptune this week as well. I think the new moon and the boost you're going to be feeling will end up fueling this energy that much more. But this particular conversation does say that there certainly is a real belief that romance and love is more and more possible for you. Absolutely it is. So yes, this energy might not be very detail oriented, might not be very practical, but it can be very enjoyable, especially if you're open to meeting someone new. If you've been, having your eye on a friend, this can be a time that gives you a whole lot of hope. If you're in an established bond, look, the energy is so super romantic and it's compatible to you. It should work out really nicely, especially where it comes to wanting to just be with your partner as a friend, to feel them as a companion. So if there's ever going to be a time when you feel that it isn't just about, what's happening on a romance level, but just really feel the love in the friendship that you have with this person, well, this kind of sky absolutely can affirm that for you. Hello, Fabulous Aquarius. What an exciting week it is for all of us. And for you in particular, we've got all this positive energy happening in fellow air sign Libra. This can work exceptionally well for you. What this does suggest is that there's a real feeling now of possibility, a feeling that the world is yours, absolutely, with a sky like this. And a feeling now that a new vision coming forward of all the things that you could do, all the things that you can achieve. So this is a super optimistic placement of some super optimistic symbols playing out now. And so this can work really well for you. Yes, in terms of like dreaming, but also planning and also manifesting as well. So wherever it comes to you wanting to put more of yourself out there, introduce more of yourself or your work or what you do to the world, this is very positive support to make that happen. It's also really good support where it comes to media. Any kind of garnering of media could happen for you right about now. And this is really good for travel. So if there's any kind of adventure that has been calling you, this is a really good sky to trust that and to go for that. Also with this sky, I do think that this energy ends up working so well for you that it's almost like the best of you you're able to bring forward that much easier, and believe in yourself, believe in the best of you that much easier. Now we do have love-wise, we do have Venus right now moving through the very top of your sky, speaking with Neptune. Now, this is a really interesting energy. This is a super romantic energy, yes, but I have a feeling as I look at this that there could be some, I look at this and I think about extravagance. I think about spending a whole lot of money where it comes to getting to know somebody, thinking that if you spend enough money, it'll make the kind of impression, it'll be romantic. Like that's the kind of energy I'm seeing. So for a small percentage of you out there, this could be a type of experience that you welcome now, that you see now, whether it is you initiating it or whether it is someone else. Also with this energy, I do have to say, again, ultimately this is about you learning something about yourself, but it is possible for a small percentage of you out there with this energy that you receive a flirtation that is particularly flattering. So for whatever reason, you may feel that this person, it could be a boss, okay? Could be somebody who is actually in a position of authority, but it could also be someone who's achieved something that you admire or represent something, and you feel particularly flattered by those flirtations. If you're in an established bond, I look at this sky and it is just believing that this person is with you, believing in this big picture that you have, and this person absolutely is going along for the ride with you, feeling that the two of you are moving towards the same ultimate vision together. Hello, Fabulous Pisces. What an exciting week it is for all of us, and for you in particular. One of the most super romantic things to happen, which is Venus speaking in supreme harmony with Neptune, is happening with Neptune in your sign. So this means that you especially will be feeling super generous, feeling the love, feeling the romance, and very likely will be feeling like sharing the love, sharing the romance. So this can manifest in a few different ways. One is just being generous with your time or with your money. And this isn't necessarily romantic, but just feeling like there's such an abundance for you, believing in that and feeling like you have so much to give, allows you to give. The other way this can work out is decidedly romantic, and it does have to do with feeling, especially if you're open to meeting someone new. This is the quintessential getting carried away, like something small, really your imagination making it something really big as you consider the possibilities. Absolutely enjoy it. It's a little bit of dreaming, maybe a whole lot of daydreaming, nothing wrong with that. And if you're in an established bond, this also can be making some really grand plans together, particularly where it comes to the types of adventures that the two of you would like to take on together. Now, this energy can also work really well where it comes to creatives. So if you are musicians in particular, but if you are an artist of any kind, this energy is super supportive for bringing forward something that you absolutely love, that you feel really good about. Now, elsewhere in the sky, we do have a lot of energy taking place for you where it comes to money, what we like to call other people's money. And this is lucky energy at that. Very prosperous time has already started for you. And this is where you're going to experience a bump, if you will. And so if there's any kind of funding that you could apply for, or that you think you may qualify for, or that you're trying to get, this is when you want to start scheduling the interviews. This is where you want to start reaching out, doing the investigating, because chances are there's a whole lot of money out there just waiting. All you have to do is figure out where it is and it will arrive. So this is large chunks of money wanting to show up for you in your life and to bless your life with greater practical prosperity. Well, thank you so much to all signs out there. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.